This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Last week, GM CEO Mary Barra announced that the company is backing off its goal to sell 1 million EVs in the U.S. by the end of next year because the demand isn't there. And now Bloomberg reports that LG Energy Solution is slowing construction of its third battery plant with GM because of that slowdown. The plant is being built in Michigan, and construction of the $2.6 billion facility started in 2022. It was supposed to begin operations in the first half of next year, but now it's not going to happen by then. Meanwhile, Stellantis is celebrating the one-year anniversary of its joint venture with LG called Nexstar Energy. They're building a battery plant in Windsor, Ontario, and it's on pace to begin making modules this fall, followed by cell production in 2025. Once it's fully up and running, it will have an annual production capacity of just under 50 gigawatt hours. Speaking of Canada, we have a quick correction here. Last week I said Ford's plant was in Oakwood, not Oakville. Thanks to everyone that pointed that out in the comments. Now, back to the news for today. BMW is ready to sacrifice sales and market share in favor of profits in China. The German automaker and its Chinese dealers are raising prices on some models by as much as $6,900 or 6,300 euros. One reason BMW is giving up on slashing prices is that it didn't really help that much. Sales are down more than 4% this year despite having deep discounts. And Bloomberg reports that Mercedes and Audi are considering doing the same thing. China was once a gold mine for the German luxury brands, but now they're fighting to hold on to what they've got. And Porsche just replaced the CEO of its China operations after sales fell 33% in the first half of the year. With 1.4 billion people, India has the largest population in the world. It has about 5 million more people than China. And of course, that has automakers dreaming of India becoming a major new car market. And it looks like that could happen, but not for several decades. Right now, about 4 million new cars are sold every year in India, which is about 2 million more than Germany, but about 500,000 less than Japan. The three largest automakers in India are Maruti Suzuki, Mahindra, and Tata. And Maruti Suzuki is in a dominant position with 40% market share. It predicts the Indian market for new cars could hit 20 million units a year by 2047, which would put India ahead of the US and Europe. And that makes India one of the last great growth markets left for the automotive industry. Stellantis had to pay some hefty fines for failing to meet US fuel economy standards. NHTSA revealed the automaker paid nearly $191 million in fines for the 2019 and 2020 model years. And Reuters reports that the automaker owes another $459 million in outstanding penalties. Last year, Stellantis paid a record-setting $235.5 million in fines for missing fuel economy requirements for the 2018 and 2019 model years. It said in a statement that the fines occurred before it existed when it was Fiat Chrysler, claiming the penalties, quote, are not indicative of the company's direction. General Motors paid nearly $130 million in fines in 2022 for missing fuel economy targets, and it's the only other automaker that has had to pay fines in the last 2 years.
Knowing that when it's time to unplug, your tires were built to get you to the place you recharge. That's what really matters. Bridgestone Turanza EV tires with a 50,000-mile limited warranty.
A Chinese EV startup wants to try and break the lap record for an electric car on the Nurburgring, which is currently held by the VW IDR. Phone maker turned automaker Xiaomi unveiled a high-performance prototype version of its SU7 sedan called the Ultra that it will take on the track in October. It features a heavily modified body with many carbon fiber panels that help lower the overall weight, but also help produce more downforce than the car actually weighs. The SU7 Ultra tips the scales at 1,900 kilograms, or just under 4,200 pounds. But it creates 2,145 kilograms, or over 4,700 pounds of downforce. Power comes from 3 electric motors that generate nearly 1,550 horsepower and provide a top speed of 350 kilometers an hour, or more than 217 miles an hour. They're fed by CATL's Qilin 2.0 battery, which is an LFP or lithium iron phosphate pack. And it comes with a set of heavily upgraded brakes that include 6-piston front and rear calipers. No word yet if there will be a production version of the SU7 Ultra. Currently, Xiaomi only has the one model in its lineup, and it only launched the SU7 in late March or early April. So it's interesting to see how fast some Chinese automakers iterate. Tesla is using a bit of a loophole to allow more customers to qualify for the U.S. federal tax credit for EVs. Car buyers can't qualify for the credit if the MSRP for an EV is over $55,000 for a passenger car or over $80,000 for trucks and SUVs. Right now, hardware options like headlamps or paint upgrades are included in the MSRP to determine if an EV is eligible, but software options like FSD are not. So Tesla is offering free paint options on the Model 3 and X as long as you sign up for FSD. Right now, FSD on its own costs $8,000, but paint options can cost up to $2,000. So until Tesla made this change, picking out that perfect paint color might have put the MSRP over the limit. Remember all those predictions about 2 years ago that the EV transition would fail because there's not enough lithium in the world to make EV batteries? Well, those were way off. There's actually so much lithium available now that prices have plummeted 80%. That's partly because of a slowdown in the growth rate of electric cars, but it's also because lithium production has grown so much. In fact, there is so much lithium available that big mining companies are thinking about delaying opening new mines and are shutting down operations at some existing ones. That could force the price of lithium back up again, but mining experts don't see that happening for at least another year. You know, we've heard of gas stations adopting EV chargers, but Rivian decided to restore an old abandoned gas station in California with charging stations and solar panels, and then opened it to the public. It has a lounge, small library, snacks, and apparel in the building, which is open 7 to 7, and outside there's activities for kids, water, bathrooms, and EV chargers that are always open. Ford is giving its EV customers more time to order a free Tesla adapter. The NACS, or North American Charging Standard Adapter, allows Ford EV owners to charge at Tesla's supercharger stations. Ford EVs, like all others, are equipped with CCS plugs. Originally, the deadline to order the adapter was June 30th, but now it's been extended to August 31st due to supply constraints. After the cutoff date, owners will have to pay $230 to get a Tesla adapter, but eventually, Ford will start equipping its vehicles with the Tesla adapter. And that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks for tuning in.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering boost your game. MEDC, where Michigan businesses are powering the future of mobility. And by Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
Michigan is leading the charge in mobility and innovation, and I can't think of a better state to be in.
There's nothing wrong with heavy metal.
Hey, lighten up.
But with world-class composite material, Teijin Automotive Technologies makes vehicles lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly.
Intrepid's NeoVi Pi, allowing automotive engineers to interface, capture, and monitor vehicle data using Raspberry Pi. As a matter of fact, it's the automotive industry's first robust platform for Raspberry Pi, featuring Intrepid CanFD technology and Raspberry Pi Compute Module. The NeoVi Pi is designed for automotive environments, allowing use with relative power ranges and applications. In addition, the NeoVi Pi enables you to use the Raspberry Pi for compute while avoiding additional development to adapt to network environments. That makes the NeoVi Pi powerful enough to solve your vehicle network problems, yet small enough to fit in your backpack. One of many Intrepid tools used for developing zonal architecture and software-defined vehicles.